Okay, nasty sell-off on the SPY today. This was a huge candle, engulfing candle that also came with very high volume, pushing the MACD back into crossing to the downside. This definitely would be concerning if you're a bull of any shape or form for the SPY. And you see, I'm going to show you that there's some financial names that are also showing some weakness. Let's look at a smaller time frame. Maybe the hourly. You could definitely see that it has broken this level right here. If we're looking for support, this 184, 183.75 area is kind of something to be concerned of. But it definitely ripped to the downside, and that's the last thing I could see for a little while in the immediate future. So it is about that 85. We need to see if that 85 level can hold. So let's just put a line there just to kind of put things in perspective, because you see it was resistance, came up, test, broke, test above. Now it's going to test again to the upside. Now let's look at the daily. Now we can see we're getting we're below the 10 with that MACD, so we have to be concerned. But look at the weekly. The weekly doesn't really, right here, right now. I mean, if we get a pull down and close below the 184.3 level, it definitely will be back to say, listen, we can get very bearish, or at least say, okay, now we have something that's rounding top and it's breaking down, but it's still above that 10-day. There is bearish MACD, but it's still above the 10-day. So we just have to make sure that if you're looking to get short, you need to be nimble. Okay, but again, this is something to not discount at all. QQQ is what really looks concerning to me, because you can see this little rounding top. I don't know if you want to call it like a house rooftop or whatever. And you can also look at it on the weekly. We're below the 10, and it gave a shooting star or saw some price weakness, meaning it came all the way up here and the bears were able to draw it all the way down and close below this low. So the NASDAQ to me is definitely in some major trouble. And if that is a bullish sign of you, I don't know, what you're looking at. But let's scale out again, see if there's anything on the 30. I can't get anything on that 30 hourly. We're closed below these lows, maybe 86. I mean, if it's going to give a little bounce, but then it could definitely get below to these prior levels as well. The Russell touched the top of this channel, engulfed and ripped to the downside. We need to get back in that channel before anything. And again, it gives you a shooting star with a close below the 10. So remember, this price action, it was green all the way up here and then closed down near the lows. So that's saying that the bears are in control with bearish MACD as well. The diamond doesn't look that bad on the weekly, because it's just, it's giving you a shooting star. So you have a defined point of risk of saying, above that 166, you're definitely going to look to get back to the long side. But this doesn't look good, and going into a name, and you could definitely see that this doesn't look good. High volume coming at this previous high. So I'm not calling a top, but it definitely broke above and it flushed it down to the downside with increasing volume. Let's look at IBM. IBM doesn't look that bad per se. If you look at the weekly, you could definitely see that it's a small candle and it has a lower high right there, but it doesn't look that bad. But again, that's for the Dow, and the Dow only consists of 30 stocks. So let's look at some other stuff. Let's look at the financials. Goldman Sachs breaking down. You got Prudential breaking down, huge engulfing pattern on Prudential. You got Bank of America again breaking down below the 10, below the 50. This is very bearish for this with increasing volume. That's very bearish. You got Fed. Let me just go into some names because I'm only going to keep this light. You got FedEx not looking good. You got Priceline that got beat up. You got LinkedIn that got beat up. You got Amazon that got beat up. You got Yelp really destroyed. Facebook, I didn't mention it, is below this line that we talked about. Okay, it's below this prior resistance that became support, bounced off, flagged, and came to the downside. So that's something to definitely keep aware of. You got Microsoft down, huge day for that one. you know, going back to those financial names, you got JP Morgan, engulfing pattern. You got Goldman Sachs, you know, again, right there. So we really have to see what's going on. You got some other names, ACT, giving you an engulfing pattern. You got Las Vegas Sands, really not looking good. You got Green Mountain Coffee Brewers, that definitely give you an engulfing break in the 20. You got State Street, that one not looking good. AOL, not looking good. eBay, not looking good as well. Looking to test that 100. You got ExxonMobil, that actually gave, I thought it was going to go, but it actually broke down, gave an engulfing pattern for the past 2 days. So we have to see how that's going to play out. But there's a lot of weak names. And if you're looking to go long, I mean, again, yes, 2013, buy the fucking dip was a great theme, but just don't buy them blindly. Make sure that you have some defined risk to go by. Okay, so protect that. I mean, I was in Netflix today. Downside, I scaled off too early like a dope, but it happens. So it's at the 200. I expect a little pop, and then we'll see if we can run it back down. But the gap is filled. Take care.